Welcome to Learn English with Fun with 𝙛𝙪𝙣. Hi there, this is Govind here. Welcome to Learn English with Fun with 𝙛𝙪𝙣. Twice every week, we focus on English grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation. In this episode, we are going to focus on vocabulary and we are going to learn 10 important adjectives that describe food, but also, and more specifically, taste, but also how we can use these same words to describe people or situations. For example, you can use juicy for a gossip, or rich for an exaggeration, or flaky if someone is unreliable. These are all great words related to taste that we use in everyday conversation for other purposes. Remember, if you need any help with your English language skills, then be sure to check out with 𝙛𝙪𝙣 by subscribing to our Spotify podcasts or search Learn English with Fun. If you don't have a Spotify account, you can visit www.𝙤𝙪𝙣.com for the complete set of our podcasts, which are categorized as per the discussion. Do note that our podcasts are short and impactful and are posted twice a week. Let us start by talking about our first adjective, bitter. How do you feel about eating broccoli or bitter gourd or lettuce? Or have you ever tasted the skin of a lime or an orange? Not the orange or the lime itself, but the skin of these fruits. All of these foods are bitter. The word bitter actually comes from a very old word meaning to bite, because when you do bite into an orange peel, it kind of bites into you. So, bitter comes from the word bite. And you know how else you can use this word bitter? You can use it if someone is feeling upset or resentful. You can describe that person as bitter. For example, he is bitter because his friend had a heated argument with him. Or, she is bitter because she hasn't cleared the exam. The second adjective is cheesy. Now, cheesy is an interesting word because you can use it in two ways. You can use it to describe the taste of something that tastes like cheese, of course, like pizza or pasta, but you can also describe someone or something as cheesy. And when you describe a person or an event as cheesy, it is not because they taste like cheese, it is because it kind of makes you cringe. Meaning you don't like it, or it's unpleasant. But again, for pizza or pasta or anything with a cheese flavor, you make that adjective by adding the Y sound to the word cheese, cheesy. Also, cheese is used as a verb as in cheesed off, which means you are annoyed or irritated. For example, when somebody is irritated with their work, you can just say, he is cheesed off with his work. Next word we have is juicy. This is a great word because it also has double meaning. In terms of food, you describe something as juicy when it has lots of liquid. It is the opposite of dry. So for example, if you are eating meat, you can describe it as juicy, or you can describe a piece of fruit as juicy because it has lots of liquid. And you know what else is juicy? Gossip. So if you hear some gossip about someone and it is really interesting, it may or may not be true, you can say that it is juicy. You can even ask someone, do you want to hear a juicy story? And then you can tell a story about someone stealing something or doing something else. Juicy stuff, isn't it? If you want to learn more such vocabulary in the fun way, stay tuned. Always remember that if you need additional help with your grammar, if you want to understand everything you hear or read and you want to express yourself completely, then check out www.𝙤𝙪𝙣.com, where you can take great online English courses on a range of different topics. The fourth adjective that we are going to look at in this episode is rich. Rich is a cool word with lots of meaning. Of course, you know that rich means to have lots of money, to be wealthy. But you can also use rich when describing food. The flavors can be described as rich. Usually, foods that are very high in nutrients taste like kind of rich. You can't eat much of them. Now, there is another meaning for rich, and that is if someone tells a story and it sounds very untrue, it sounds like an exaggeration. If that is the case, then you can say, oh, that's a bit rich. It is like saying, I don't fully believe that, but it's a funny way to say it. The fifth adjective we are going to look at is salty. Of course, with regard to food, it means having lots of salt, like instant noodles or lots of fast food is high in salt and tastes salty. But a person can also be salty, and this doesn't mean they taste like a salt. Here, the word means that they are resentful. So imagine you are playing a game with someone and you win fair and square, not cheating, but the other person is upset. They are resentful. Then you can describe that person as salty. What about fishy? Some people like the taste of fish and some people don't. Do you like fishy foods? Me, I don't eat fish, but I do like using the word fishy in the other ways, and it means if something is suspicious. If something is suspicious, then we can say that it's a bit fishy. For example, let us say your bicycle goes missing and then you see your neighbor riding a new bicycle that looked like yours. It's fishy, right? Sure is. You are suspicious. Now remember that the person is not fishy, but the whole situation is fishy. The seventh word that we are going to see in this episode is bland. Have you ever eaten something bland? Something kind of tasteless? It is not spicy, it is not salty, it is not anything at all. It just lacks flavor. Maybe oatmeal or porridge is like this, or rice without anything else. It is bland. So of course, you have probably met some people in your life who are also bland as well. Let us say you go out with a new acquaintance and well, he or she is pretty boring. And your friends ask you, how was your outing? Well, you can say it was a bit bland. The eighth word is sloppy. What about sloppy? Food is often sloppy, right? Think about curries or any sort of sauce. When you stir it, it's sloppy. It's a kind of liquid. You can almost hear the sound of the sloppiness. You know what else can be sloppy? Work. You ask someone to do something for you, like write a report or put together a spreadsheet, and you know what? They do a sloppy job. Sloppy here is a funny way to say that what they did was not very good, not very thorough, not very well structured. It is sloppy like a curry. The ninth word is fruity. Fruity is a great adjective to describe the flavor of something that tastes like apples or orange or pears or plums, etc. But it can also describe someone who is a bit crazy. You can describe them as being a little fruity. And we will finish with the most favorite word for me to describe someone, which is called flaky. Flaky is a kind of texture of food. An example of something flaky would be the crust of a pie. It means it breaks or separates easily into small little pieces or flakes. Now, if I describe a person as being flaky, then it means that they are unreliable. You can't count on them. They are not good at doing what they say they will do. They are flaky. Cool. Thanks for listening this episode. Remember to check out www.𝙛𝙪𝙣-𝙛𝙖𝙘𝙩 for our online English language courses to build your vocabulary further. Have a great day. See you soon.